She inspired me to speak words that changed the way other people thought. In my freshman year, I asked her to be my coach when I was an exhibition speaker, which involved presenting meaningful monologues that moved us in some way. My competitors chose to recite presidential inaugural speeches or comedy monologues, but I wanted something shocking. I chose a scene from Lillian Hellman's play, The Children's Hour, that confronted the local townspeople's beliefs and values because of the play's controversial theme. I used 2 different voices and 2 different stances and had a very dramatic death scene on stage. My father almost went into cardiac arrest, and my mother, of course, gave me a standing ovation. I never felt the need to conform. I always stood up for my beliefs, and it never occurred to me to ignore my intuition because I knew my mother was in my corner cheering me on. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and though we might not clearly see the reason at the time, the lesson is still learned. Just before my sophomore year, my parents sent me to New York to spend the summer with my 14-year-old cousin. My parents pooled their meager finances for the trip because my mother thought the journey would be a much-needed experience, and my dad thought that being around a normal teen would fix me. As it turned out, my cousin and I had nothing in common. Instead, the person I was destined to meet was Saundra, the girlfriend of an older cousin. She was an actress and the most beautiful woman I had ever known, with all the confidence and flair I imagined a movie star to have. I, on the other hand, was a pudgy mess. When I told Saundra that I wished I looked exactly like her, she replied, "Honey, you should look like you, only better. Every woman is beautiful, but she has to feel it or she can never show it." That summer I lost weight, cut my hair, changed the kind of clothes I wore, and started seeing myself differently. Saundra encouraged me by saying that she would do anything to have my brains because then she would be unstoppable. It was quite a summer. In college, I was saddened to find out that many women were there to find husbands rather than to improve their minds. It became my mission to encourage the women I met to find themselves first and to believe in their own worth. Through my experiences, I came to believe that the value women place on their partners versus themselves is the fundamental reason so many women find themselves alone, wondering why they can't attract a good man. They wind up acting too needy or too strong. Neither of these behaviors will get us what we want. I put myself through school by simultaneously working 4 jobs. The most interesting was being a DJ for Stephen King's radio station. So I was embracing multitasking to its highest degree. Graduation brought job interviews that I thought were unfair to women. After I spent several hours being a squeaky wheel, I was allowed to interview with companies outside of my degree expertise. Although I had my heart set on working in television and becoming the next Connie Chung, she was very popular then, I also interviewed with 2 pharmaceutical companies. One of the companies had launched the first birth control pill and had a reputation for being a leader in women's health. When the manager offered me a handsome salary, a company car, and an expense account, I decided it would be a good stepping stone until I made it in broadcasting. 10 years later, I was still working in the pharmaceutical industry. I had successfully maneuvered my way up the corporate ladder with 8 promotions and 5 relocations, and had developed a reputation for doing whatever it took to succeed. I had more dings in my armor than a knight in battle, but I understood that sometimes you must be willing to pay a price for success. I had accomplished goals that had largely been considered unattainable. I joke that I had a healthy dose of unconscious incompetence. I didn't know what I didn't know, so I thought I could do anything. I represented a portfolio of women's brands and launched them all over the world. It was my dream job. I took my job very seriously, working 6 days a week and traveling 15 days a month. But it was all for women. What could be nobler? The dream came to an end after my first encounter with competitive feminism. Women hindering other women from succeeding. A woman who I felt was threatened by my relationship with her supervisor decided to send me out of the country permanently, rather than fight fire with fire.